I'm making every piece of furniture in this house, and today we're making this stunning bathroom vanity. We've gutted the bathroom to the studs so we can modernize it and design it from the ground up. We are designing a vacation rental where you can stay, relax, and judge my work firsthand. This isn't going to be just another bathroom vanity. It's going to be the centerpiece of this bathroom. So it has to look like no other vanity you've ever seen. I've got some unique ideas I can't wait to show you, and this video is brought to us by Squarespace. The whole cabinet is gonna be made out of one sheet of cherry plywood. It's a little too big for me to run through the table saw, so I'm gonna chop it into thirds here with the track saw. Almost, I can't reach. Now that everything is cut down, I can do the rest here at my table saw. My blade is barely above the surface. When you're cross-cutting plywood at the table saw, you can get some tear out. A cool trick to get around that is score it first, then raise your blade, and then run it through again. I love projects like this where we can cut all the pieces all at once, and now we get to do the fun part of us. Actually, it's all the fun part. So now I'm going to take a jigsaw and I'm gonna cut out a little notch on the two side pieces for the toe kick. And I'm gonna use the piece as the toe kick to draw my line. And then we'll come in about that far. To cut out the toe kick, I'm just gonna cut as straight as possible using the wiggle saw. So we're gonna use pocket holes to assemble this whole thing. I've already got all my holes marked just to make sure that I don't drill them in the wrong spot. This kind of joinery, it just goes together so fast. We're gonna have the cabinet glued and clamped together within 2 hours of the first cut. I love projects where you can cut all the pieces right away and then quickly assemble it with pocket holes. So now it is time to pocket hole and glue everything together. And this is the trickiest part of the entire day. Get some clamps on here to temporarily hold this in place. I guess that's what clamps do, temporarily hold things in place. And then we can just screw this together. And we are together forever. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. I got the top sitting on there. This is looking so good. I'm so, like, it is, we started this at 10 a.m. It's 11:42 and it's already together. That's how quick this is going together. So I got this piece right here, which is gonna get glued in right there, and that's going to allow the doors to be flush with everything. So I'm going to cut this to length, edge band this piece, and then just glue that right on there. We got a nice little lip on the front, nice little lip on the sides. Because plywood has nasty looking edges, we're gonna take some iron-on edge banding and iron it on. Probably why it's called iron-on edge banding. If you're wondering, wouldn't this have been easier if you've done it before putting it together? The answer is yes. Oh, fuck. Was that on camera? For the doors, I want the grain going horizontal. I'm gonna cut one large piece and then split it right down the middle, and that saw curve is going to be the perfect 1/8 inch gap between the two doors. And then I'll have a nice continuous grain going throughout. I'm gonna cut it slightly too large. That way I can draw a line and cut to that line and get a perfect edge on all sides. So simple, but we're gonna do something extra special for the doors. We're gonna do this thing where it ties itself into the room. Now that that's cut down slightly oversized, I'm gonna cut it right down the middle so we have our left door and right door and beautiful matching continuous grain. So I'm gonna edge band the inside and the top of the doors before I cut them down to their final size. Out of some scrap 1/8 inch plywood, I cut a spacer for there, and then I've got one taped to the door here to give me that 1/8 inch gap all the way around. And then I'm just gonna center my doors, then draw a line. We have perfect 1/8 inch gaps. They're slightly undersized, so I have room to add edge banding to this side, this side, this side, and this side. Got that nice continuous grain. Before I attach them to the cabinet, we're gonna do some special stuff. Check this out. I went ahead and lacquered the doors and then added some masking tape to the front. I think that's going to assist me when it comes time to pour epoxy in there. I think. So I did an air cut, everything is looking good. It's time to hit start. Hopefully, I don't have to remake these doors. So the tape wasn't a good idea. I rarely worry about feeds and speeds too much anymore. Basically, I start really slow on here, and then I just speed it up until it sounds right. So we can go a little faster. All right, that came out really good. I thought that tape was gonna help me with the epoxy pour, but the bit was just tearing the tape up. So I dammed the ends. Gonna squeeze some epoxy in there. My CNC is pretty level, so I'm hoping this works. This takes a steady hand, which I don't have. I just launched a brand new website with Squarespace. I mean, my website has been a Squarespace site for many, many years, but it was time for a refresh. It was time for an update, and it couldn't have been easier. Squarespace made it so easy to just change out the design, change the colors, move things around. That's all because of the Fluid engine. You don't really need to know what the Fluid engine does, except it makes working on your website super easy. Everything is just drag and drop and copy and paste. You don't like where something's at, you just move it over to somewhere else. It's as easy as that. You can change the color palette of the whole website with just a few clicks. It's that easy. One of my favorite features about Squarespace is the asset library. There's a lot of things that I use over and over again. Headshots, photos, logos. It's all stored in the asset library waiting for me to use. It's so easy. You're probably a lot like me, a maker, a woodworker, a crafter, metalworker, artist, whatever. You need a website. You need a place to show off your work. You need a contact form so people can get a hold of you. Maybe you want to sell stuff. You can sell both physical and digital items with Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace for a long time, many years. I think we're getting close to like 10 years. I'm not joking. It's been that long. Check out my new website. It looks fantastic. Check out Squarespace at squarespace.com. And when you're ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/makesomething for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, let's get back at it. Thank you, Squarespace. For cabinets, I like to spray with varnish. It goes on fast, dries within minutes, and gives a factory-like flawless finish. One day, when I actually learn how to use the HVLP gun, maybe I'll make a video on the process. For the hinges, I'm using full overlay frameless soft close. Hinges can be stupid confusing depending on whether or not your doors are on a face frame or frameless or inset or overlay. It deserves an entire video on its own, but using the hinge jig from Craig does make it a little bit easier. The handles, I cut out 2 cherry wood discs on the Stepcraft and then 2 larger discs out of acrylic on the R400. This gets glued on to the doors and ties into the design. The cabinet gets screwed into the studs, and then the vanity top is glued down to the cabinet. That makes sure everything is stable and it doesn't screw up the plumbing. The sheet of cherry plywood was $115.24. The hinges were $33.99. The faucet was $29.39. And then the vanity top was $224 for a total of $402.64. I absolutely love the transformation of this bathroom. It was pretty hideous when we moved in, so I had a professional come in and tear it down to the studs, and he did all the new drywall, the floor, inserting the new shower and tub, and I'm sticking to strictly woodworking. So I made the cabinet here, and then up next I'm making a medicine cabinet that's going to go in the hole in this wall, and that medicine cabinet is going to match the cabinet. Here's a fun little fact. We based the cabinet design off of a shower curtain that we ordered for the bathroom. I know that sounds totally crazy, basing a cabinet off of a throwaway shower curtain, but if we ever change the shower curtain, I know a halfway good, decent woodworker who can replace the doors. I'm not gonna have official plans for this, but I will have the 3D files for you to download and play around with if you like. I am building every single piece of furniture in this house, and you will be able to stay here and judge my work firsthand starting in late 2024. I've got a playlist of all the previous builds. You're definitely gonna wanna check this out here. As always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something.